Ambassador Leary of the Thoraxi Collective had studied over 6,000 sentient species. She had cataloged languages that communicated through color, scent, electromagnetic pulses, gravitational distortion, and even localized manipulation of probability. She had translated poetry composed entirely of star flare harmonics and legal codes encoded in genetic sequences. Nothing surprised her anymore, until she encountered humans. Specifically, until she encountered that word. The Interstellar Concorde was in session, its vast crystalline chamber floating in neutral space between dozens of empires. Delegates shimmered, hovered, or sat in forms shaped by evolution and culture. At the center of the chamber stood a human, plain, soft-skinned, absurdly fragile. Commander Ethan Hale, diplomatic attaché of Earth. Leary watched him from across the chamber as he concluded his address. And despite our differences, Ethan said, humanity believes cooperation isn't just possible, it's worth fighting for. Polite acknowledgement rippled through the delegates. Then, as he stepped back, Ethan muttered under his breath, his translator still active. Oh, hell, I hope that worked. The chamber froze. Leary's sensory fronds stiffened. The word hell echoed across 1,000 translation matrices. Her console immediately flagged it. Warning semantic anomaly detected. Warning concept lacks universal referent. Warning emotional weight exceeds logical utility. Leary rose from her seat. Commander Hale, she said, her voice smooth but sharp. May I inquire? Ethan turned, startled. Of course, Ambassador. She inclined her head. Why does your species use that word? The chamber leaned in. Middle. A question without a framework. Ethan blinked. Which word? Leary's fronds flushed faintly, a sign of discomfort she rarely displayed. Hell, she said. You invoke it frequently. In frustration, humor, fear, even affection. Yet it does not correspond to a physical location, biological state, or measurable phenomenon. Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. Wow. That's the big question. You may take your time, Leary said. I wish to understand. The session was unofficially suspended. Delegates listened openly now. Curiosity spread like static. Ethan exhaled. Okay. Well. Hell started as a mythological concept, a place of punishment after death. But that's not really how we use it anymore. Then why preserve it? Leary asked. Your species typically discards inefficiencies. Ethan smiled wryly. We keep the ones that mean something. Leary folded her fronds. Explain. Ethan looked around the chamber. Humans live with extremes. Pain, joy, loss, hope. We needed words big enough to carry all of that. Hell became shorthand for the worst things we can imagine or experience. But it is imaginary, Leary insisted. Ethan met her gaze. So are a lot of things that still hurt. The chamber went quiet. Leary processed this. You assign emotional mass to abstractions, she said slowly. You allow symbols to wound. Yeah, Ethan replied. And to heal. Leary had never considered that. The discomfort of emotional density. Later, in a quieter diplomatic alcove, Leary requested a private conversation. Ethan agreed. Your language is inefficient, she said, studying him closely. Yet profoundly dense. That's one way to put it. You do not merely describe reality, she continued. You cope with it through words. Ethan nodded. Pretty much. Leary hesitated, then asked, do all humans understand hell the same way? Ethan chuckled softly. Not even close. That makes no sense. It makes perfect sense to us, he said, because it's personal. Leary's fronds flushed again, brighter this time. Then when you say it aloud, she said, you expose your inner distress. Sometimes, Ethan admitted. Sometimes we joke. Sometimes we vent. Sometimes we're scared. Leary felt warm, a strange sensation, blooming beneath her carapace. You casually reveal vulnerability, she said. Publicly. Yeah, Ethan said. It's kind of our thing. She looked away. Her species did not do that. When the question turned inward. Over the following cycles, Leary found herself observing humans more closely. They swore when damaged, when amused, when overwhelmed, when relieved. The same words used for pain and joy. She asked Ethan again during a later meeting, why use the same term for suffering and humor? Ethan thought for a moment, because laughing at pain makes it smaller. Leary's fronds trembled. Her species eliminated discomfort through chemical regulation and emotional dampening. Pain was treated as a flaw. Humans treated it as material. You do not minimize suffering, she said. You contextualize it. Ethan smiled gently. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. She lowered her voice. Does it ever fail? All the time, he admitted. But we try anyway. Something in her chest tightened. The word that broke protocol. The incident occurred during a crisis briefing. A trade route collapse had stranded millions. Tempers flared. Accusations flew. A senior Thoraxy delegate dismissed human logistics projections as emotionally contaminated estimates. Ethan snapped. That's complete bullshit, he said. The chamber erupted. Leary felt her fronds heat instantly. The words slammed into her cognition, not aggressive, but raw, honest, unfiltered. Ethan froze. Sorry. Leary raised a frown sharply. No. The chamber stilled. Explain, she demanded, voice trembling, not with anger, but something else. Ethan swallowed. It means frustration. That something is wrong. That people will get hurt if we ignore it. And you used it, she said, because polite words were insufficient. Yes. Her fronds flushed deep violet. She realized then what she was feeling. Embarrassment. Her species had no word for it. Ending. When understanding changed everything. Later, Leary confronted Ethan privately. Your words carry risk, she said. They expose you. Ethan nodded. We know. Then why continue? Ethan looked at her steadily. Because hiding how we feel doesn't make the feeling go away. It just makes us alone with it. Leary felt her composure crack. For the first time, she said softly, I understand why your species survives despite its fragility. Ethan tilted his head. Oh, you allow yourselves to be seen, she said, even when it is uncomfortable. She hesitated, then tried something unprecedented. Hell, she said quietly. The word felt heavy. Real. Ethan's eyes widened. Leary's fronds flushed brilliantly. I believe, she said carefully, that I am blushing. Ethan laughed, not mockingly but warmly. Welcome to humanity, he said. From that day forward, Thoraxy linguistic doctrine changed. Emotionally weighted language was no longer considered inefficient. It was considered essential. And across the stars, humanity gained a new reputation, not as warriors or inventors or survivors, but as the species that taught the galaxy how to feel without breaking. And it all started with a word that shouldn't have mattered, but did.